Okay, if you watch off to the right, well, that's actually on both sides. Should be one coming up. There are these bells placed along this stretch of road. It goes all the way down the Harbor Boulevard into Leffingwell and beyond. But when it gets to Harbor, it makes right, goes down Harbor, and then they're placed alongside the 5 all the way down to San Juan Capistrano Mission. This is, I'm going to show you a marker for this up here. Oh, there's a creek. Used to hold crawdads. Both sides of the road. We used to get pool skimming nets and catch crawdads. Soft shell crawdads, believe it or not. Here in California. This is our biggest Catholic church, Our Lady Guadalupe. One of the La Habra fire stations. Let's see. This is Tina's Burgers. Some of the best burgers you can ever buy. Pure deliciousness. Whenever I'm in the area, I always grab one. It used to be a mom and father owned it. Now I believe they're both. They retired. They may have passed on, but now the 2 sisters run it. They've ran it forever. Some other cool stuff right here. I'm just gonna go by and show a few things. Oh, and I'm gonna tell a story up there. This is one you won't believe. This is one everybody my age heard about, but didn't know what happened. But I know the secret about what happened. And they can't arrest me because I don't know where the guy is that did it. But this space available, that was a place called Nina's. The sign is still behind it. Nina's was there for 58 years. And they couldn't keep up with online BS. So I never went in there. It was a women's clothing store, but they were always a stable, tax-paying, community holding together mom and pop shop. They're gone. This used to be Northgate. Northgate moved up to Whittier Boulevard and expanded. Northgate got big. I knew a kid when he was Mexican kid when he was about 8. I knew him until he was about 12. When he was 12, they gave him a job here because they knew his dad. He was sweeping up the back. From there, he became checker. From checker, while staying in school, from checker, he worked in the meat area. From the meat, he became manager. From this manager, he went to managing school. Mind you, this kid didn't even have papers. He went to managing school, and then he went to another Northgate. Then he started teaching something. Now, the dude owns a Northgate. He owns a Northgate. Other Northgates helped him put the money together, get the store started, and they get a percentage of it until it's paid. He owns that. He's younger than me, and he owns a Northgate. Unbelievable. But this whole shopping center here used to be a booming place. That was La Habra Music. There's a pharmacy down there. That's one of the very few places that are left. Reminds me of Bruce Springsteen's song. They're closing down the textile mill. Textile mill did close down over there across the train tracks. Foreman told them the jobs are going, boys, and they ain't coming back. But Main Street's whitewashed windows and vacant stores. Seems like there isn't nobody wants to come down here no more. A bunch of stores here. Now, up Harbor, there used to be, going up Harbor, where Rite Aid is, used to be a Thrifties. That used to be a Lucky's, Albertsons, now it's Stater Brothers. There used to be a Chuck E. Cheese there. There used to be a TG&Y. If any of you remember TG&Y, that's a chain that no longer exists. There was one rack road that I used to like to go down. It was nothing but cedar. I can still smell that cedar. And if you go into, oh, here's something interesting. If you go into Vegas, go through the strip, all the way down the end of the strip on the left-hand side before you get to the old part of the strip, there's the world's biggest souvenir shops. And one of the rows in there is all cedar. And you walk through there, boom, you are transferred back to TG&Y. So cool. Let's see what else is in this area. La Harbor Pets and Fish. They supply the goldfish, they used to, for the pet store. Let me, oh, back here. I used to work with, oh, this is a good one. When I worked at Northrop in Pico Vera, I worked with a guy named, and I'm not going to say his first name, but his last, well, I'm not going to say his last name. I'm not going to say his real name. His name was blank blank, and he was a welder. And that welder invented, in the 70s, he invented the 3-wheeled chopper with the fiberglass thing. They were called a Strato, what did he used to call them? Strato something. Anyway, they were sold for big dollars. Huge mags in the back, dragster engine in it, 3 wheels, chopper. He was a millionaire back then. Well, he also sold the kits to build your own. Well, he didn't mark the bolts, and somebody put one together with the wrong bolt, and the front end came off, and he sheared off his left arm on the guardrail, and he sued him for everything he owns. So, Strato Taxi, that's what they were called. But he lives right up there. He might be passed on now. He probably is. But I'm sure his son's still alive. But they were millionaires, right? The Nike base is down over there, about, as the crow flies, 3-4 miles, 3.5 miles. Other side harbor. Nike base was fully functional in the 70s. And he said 1977, 78. In the back of comic books, you used to buy, you'd be able, a 12-foot weather balloon you could buy. He bought a 12-foot weather balloon for his sons. But he's gonna give him a 4th of July they would never forget. He did. His son talked about it for years. But he tells his son, don't bring the police down on me. So he got a full bottle of helium and full bottle of oxygen, and he filled that helium balloon up. He said he had 4 or 5 bricks below it to keep it, the bottom down. He went and he bought a 50-foot dynamite wick. He had a block party going. Everybody was watching, all the people. Nobody told on him. Nobody had cell phones. Nobody clicked pictures. There weren't so many snitches back then. But he filled that up, and he lit the dynamite wick and let it go. He said that balloon went up and up and up and up and up. He said 20 minutes went by. You couldn't even see the balloon no more. It was dark. And he figured it went out. And he goes, they went back to barbecue and whatever. He said all of a sudden, the whole sky lit up. Just one white flash. And a second later, an explosion like nobody had heard before. He goes, within minutes, the Nike base was put on full alert. There were military jeeps cruising all over the place, and broadcasting in that area to stay in the house. That's what happened. It was a weather balloon from the back of a comic, 12-foot weather balloon. I've lived in La Habra, I've lived in Fresno, I've lived in Long Beach, all over Long Beach. I lived all over the place, but whenever I needed hardware, I try to make it a point to come back to this Ace Hardware. Family owned, family run. I try to keep them going. I try to stay away from Home Depot. Oh, right there. Let me pull over. This is awesome. Right there, in between those two buildings, there used to be a place called Model Mania. And they had models. Oh, great models. They were there in the 60s, 70s, 80s. In the 80s, they disappeared. Late 70s, oh, there's a photo place right here too. Photo developing place somewhere. But my friend found him. He goes, dude, that place still exists. It was over on Commonwealth, I believe, by a spaghetti factory on the other side of the harbor. And he goes, yeah. He goes, it's weird though. You have to call a phone number for him to come open it. You look through and there's just dust all over everything. He's got some of the same stuff on the shelf now that he had back then. Little Testors paints and stuff. And he lives on the top. So you call him and he comes down and opens it up. Model Mania. I believe they're still there. It's been a few years, but I believe they're still there. There's the new police department, and the old post office is gone. I'll show it to you. I'm gonna go back here and park. So for you long-time patrons of the city, there's the new post office right next to Bank of America. This is the new City Hall. They knocked the old City Hall down and made condos. See that 7-Eleven? Martin. You guys know Martin, the backpacks with me? His brother built that 7-Eleven. Martin helped with all the paperwork. He used to work for his brother. Now he works in the medical field, but his brother put that 7-Eleven up. Small world. That 7-Eleven used to be a Pancho Gordo's. One of my mom and dad's favorite restaurants. There it is. It's El Camino Real Trail. Goes straight down the Harbor Boulevard, the harbor, and follows the 5. See, you got these bells all the way down. This was the original trail. There's where the Civic Center used to be. There's where the old post office used to be. This is where Wells Fargo used to be. I believe was Wells Fargo. So when you're taking the little tour at San Juan Capistrano, the story goes, pirates, yes, pirates, Spanish pirates came in, docked off of the coast down there, and came up, hit the missions, said, give us your wine, some food, your gold, we'll be on our way. And they had 11 soldiers. They said, the only thing we're going to give you is the powder of our guns. You don't leave now. So they left. Well, those pirates came back with more men and came back armed and dusted all the pirates, wiped them out, and took the wine, took the gold, took the food, took everything, and came up the trail, Camino Real Trail, hitting mission after mission. We got up as far as, I believe it was Ventura, the lady said, or the guy, before armies caught up with them. And when they caught up with them, they didn't have the treasures with them. They buried it somewhere along the way. It may be buried here, it may be buried there, it may be buried closer to Ventura, but nobody will ever find it, I doubt. So I think they hit 3 or 4 missions before getting killed, and the ships were burned and sunk. Now, it could be some of those soldiers stashed treasure. Nobody knows, because none of it has ever turned up that they know of. So your house could be built on actual pirate treasure. The world will never know. Another interesting fact about the Camino Real Trail is mustard plants were planted along it, so the bright, because they were not native to the area. That trail and the other one coming down by where pioneers came down through Mormon Rocks by Lattle Creek and came all the way down, they planted those mustard seeds, wild mustard, so the trail could be seen by the wagon train guys and by the horsemen and by the people making the walk out here for miles, and from birds eating it and wind and everything. That mustard is now everywhere. But that's its origin. This is the La Habra Children's Museum. I believe they're putting on a play. A Cowardly Lion, Little Monkeys, Scarecrow. You guys look awesome. You guys look awesome. And the Wizard of Oz. They put plays on here for kids. They do amazing things here for kids. If you got kids like 5, 6, 7, you gotta bring them. Check it out. It's awesome. And in the summer they put a screen up over there and show movies. It's all set up like the 20s. Now I told you guys about that pump car that I got on and rode that pump car. Well, that pump car rode that pump car down through these tracks, which they've all phased out now. Right down here by the Children's Museum, ditched it in between. This building was here. This was a warehouse, I believe, at the time. We ditched it right here, and they welded to the tracks, and it remained. Actually, it was those tracks. There were tracks there because that was a textile mill right there. That street didn't exist. That was a textile mill. And there's a huge hole right there when it went out of business. And I went down that hole and left my dog Rebel. My dog Rebel used to pull me on a skateboard all over town. I had that German Shepherd for 16 years. Everybody knew him. I'd sit in a lounge chair on my skateboard and act like I was whipping him like a sled dog, and he'd pull me all over town. He'd pull me at Thrifties. I'd go in and get him an ice cream and come out. Everybody knew us. But I left him on top of that hole, and I went down that hole. I stayed too long. I came up, he was gone. I was just so paranoid, running all over, looking for him. After about an hour and a half, I gave up. I went home, which is miles down that way, and I go home. My mom and dad oh, we were so worried about you. Rebel came home about an hour ago. He found his way home. Unbelievable. That's how well he knew this city. But that was a textile mill. They closed down the textile mill across the railroad tracks. Foreman says these jobs are going, boys, and they ain't coming back to your hometown. And they did. They left. It's almost like you wrote the song about this place. But this is the museum. And there's a man and a woman. They're both passed away. They brought these in here afterwards. They removed the pump car, and they donated these. Southern Pacific donated these. What a great company. They donated these for the kids, and you can go inside. Or you can climb on top and jump. But yeah, we used to run alongside, rabbit. Run alongside, we grab onto that, boom, and ride it. Get in those and ride those. And it looks like it's far, but it's not that far. You can jump it really easy. But inside they've got some really killer stuff for kids. And one woman and one man, I guess they had a lot of money in their lifetime and stayed together a long time. They traveled the world. They collected all kinds of cool stuff. When they got up there in age, they donated a lot of that stuff here. Their pictures are inside. It's been years since I've been in there. Since my daughter was in the Girl Scouts. They had an overnight here. But you can see their pictures in there, and they donated a lot of the stuff to this for the kids. Look at there's a bus in there, a piece of a bus. There's a huge train layout. Oh, they donated a bunch of clothing so the kids can try on these different clothing. Really neat. There's a baseball field in the background. School, some toys, tennis courts. And the railroad tracks that still run. Southern Pacific still comes through from LA, from up by Elvira Street and beyond. And they come down through here and go down into Brea and Fullerton, shoot down even further. I believe one goes all the way down towards San Diego. But the pump car sat right here for years. I rode it here. That was me. Statutes of limitations have run out. I was a minor. I'm under the Witness Protection Agency right now. I've got it covered in all directions. See these wheels, what they're shaped like to ride on that track? Well, right over here, a guy was building a ship. Right over here, years ago, there's a kid, local kid, he has Down syndrome. His name's Jimmy. He has a Mexican kid, he's kind of tall, about 5'9", real skinny, and he'd walk all over town. You'd see him up in Laguna, quacking at the ducks all the time. Quack, 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 quack. I remember him from when I was like 5 years old. And so the kids just called him Jimmy Quack Quack. And that just became his nickname around town. He's still around. He outlived his mom and dad. He's still around. His sister takes care of him. Lives over here somewhere. But every once in a while he gets out. And he walking around. He walks with a terrible limp. Because he was underneath these trains playing, and the train took off and pinched his leg off about here. I guess his leg was in between the two wheels. He couldn't get out, and it pinched his leg off, and he's got a fake lower leg and fake foot. And so when you see, if you guys remember Jimmy Quack Quack, And you wonder why. Why does he walk with a limp? That's why. Playing on the train. Riding around town on our bikes so much, we also need a place to get all the wild edibles. There's a house right up here on the left. Okay. Right up here somewhere. This house. No? I think I just passed it. Yeah, I just passed it. I had a loquat tree. Or kumquat. Loquat tree. Whenever we were in the area, if they're ripe, we'd always stop and leave and grab all you want. Makes a mess. So we'd get those. Other places there's lemons. But I shot a video about Nike base, and a guy contacted me and said I was stationed at Nike base, and he became a friend of mine. He was a soldier. He became a friend of mine. He still is to this day. He's writing a book about his lifestyle, about his life, and it's gonna be good. But in 60, 68, 69, 67, 68, something like that, he was chicken box. My brother worked there. Excellent roasted chicken. They used to have boysenberry punch. They don't anymore. And the old lady that lived there died. She used to collect chicken. They still have a bunch of them in there, but she left it to her daughter. Her daughter partied the money away and sold it. It sucks. But chicken box. Ever in town, get some. You'll thank me. Next door to Marie Callender's. But he contacted me and he said, hey, I lived in Nike base, sent me a bunch of photos. He said, you could be in a Yamaha shop there. And he said, is 300 Bull still there? I said, yeah. Can you go down? So I came down here one afternoon, one night with my phone. He gave me his phone number. And I went inside and clicked a bunch of pictures of that 300 Bull. Which, by the way, my uncle, when he was a big time bowler, my mom's brother, he's gone now too, but when he was alive, big time bowler, and he used to be on all kinds of leagues, and when he'd come down, he'd bowl. My mom and dad would bowl with him, and good times, man. We used to play the pinball machines. They didn't have video games back then. The pinball machines, we're watching them bowl, and man, a lot of memories here. So did he. He was getting a ride down from Nike base down here, and he said a guy had this little sports car, and he goes, the guy was an officer. He came down, he goes, he was hitting 90 on the old Fullerton Road. Now hitting 40s hard. He was hitting 90 in some places. A little like Maxwell Smart type foreign car. And he let me out. So going a couple hours later, after he spent all of his money, he was going back up, and the guy goes, you ride back, I promise I won't drive. He goes, you better not. So he drove the same way. He goes, when they got out of the car, he goes, I pulled him out of the car, and he goes, I beat the shit out of him. He goes, I warned you, you did it again, I beat the shit out of you. And he goes, he didn't get in trouble, the guy didn't snitch him off. I guess the guy felt he had it coming. But coffee shop down here. Let's see what else is in this area of interest. Elks Club went out of business. Unbelievable. They were there forever. I worked there at 15, 16. That used to be called the Casbah. That fish aquarium been there since I was in high school. This El Cholo's been there forever. And up here used to be a Don Steve Chevrolet. They're gone. Now it's condos. Used to be a miniature golf here. And I found that guy. The guy that holds the club. He's over off the 405 across the freeway from the Goodyear Blimps. I don't know what he's doing, but he used to stand right there holding the golf club. He's about 60, 70 feet high, maybe 40, 50 feet high, and he's holding a golf club. That's where he used to stand. That was Arby's. I worked there. The Stater Brothers used to be at Thrifty's. Rite Aid used to be that used to be Thrifty's. This used to be a Albertsons. That Coin Laundry used to be a Chuck E. Cheese. Before that, a TG&Y. TG&Y. I've tried looking them up online. I've had no luck. But this is the beginning of the Harbor Heights from here up. Harbor Boulevard, just the old Fullerton Road. Farrah Fawcett, when she was married to Lee Majors, they had a mansion built up there off of Fullerton Road, but they got divorced before it was finished. They never moved in. Okay, this corner here, this empty corner, Harbor on the Harbor Boulevard, northwest corner, used to be a Birch Ford. At the end of Birch Ford, on the north side, used to be a place called Trapper John's. Trapper John's. That used to be a Volkswagen dealer owned by a guy named Mike Maltebeck. Later on in life, Mike Maltebeck was hitting on hard times and sold half the company to another guy. His name I don't know. But so Mike Maltebeck was hitting on hard times, I guess. Or he just knew the guy. He sold out halfway. There's one of the bells from the Camino de Real, and then it turns and goes south. But he sold out to another guy. That guy owned 50% of the company. That Volkswagen dealer, my dad worked there for a while, in the late 60s, early 70s, I guess. I guess it'd be early 70s. I don't know what he did. But when I was with Molly, so this would be somewhere between 2007 and 2005 and 2017, I guess. Towards the end there, I'm coming down. I work nights in Huntington Beach. I'd get off at 10 or 11, sometimes 12. I'd go straight to the mountains. I'd hike up Mount Baldy and do a midnight hike up Mount Baldy. Not always Mount Baldy, sometimes Ice House, sometimes East Fork, St. Gabriel's. Anyway, on this particular night, I hiked up top of Baldy to the Backbone, spent the night up there. When I was coming down the bowl. Right before you drop down those switchbacks to the rock garden, there's this old man going up. He's got to be in his mid-80s. It wasn't the Korean guy. This is a white guy. He's in really good shape. He says he does it every Thursday. I don't know if he still does. Haven't seen him since. But he's like, yeah, where you headed? I said, the Harbor. He goes, oh, I used to own a business there. Well, part of a business. He goes, a couple, matter of fact. He goes, I still own one. It's in the process of being sold now. I go, what'd you own? He goes, Maltebeck. I said, oh, man, I lived right close to there. I go, matter of fact, my dad worked there. He goes, what was his name? I told him the name. He goes, don't remember the name. He goes, but, yeah, I owned it during that time. And he goes, at lunch, we all used to get together and go to Trapper's Inn. Trapper's Inn. Think about that. A Trapper Inn. It's a cool store. Never went in. It was a restaurant, too. Steakhouse. Never went in it because I was too young. But, Trapper's Inn, we'd go over there and have a liquid lunch and then head back. So Trapper's Inn was right there. It's gone. Now this guy, he goes, yeah, when I sold out to my 50% back to Mike Maltebeck and moved on, he goes, I opened up a foreign transmission down here by Bank America. I go, I know where that is. It's since gone out of business too. He goes, yeah. He goes, I'm selling that to one of my employees that's worked for me for like 17, 18 years, 20, 27 years. His son's working for 17 years, and I'm selling it to him. His son's name is, let me think of it. His son's name, that guy's name was Clazio. I go, I went to school with a Clazio from Sonora. He goes, really? What year did he graduate? I said, 84, 85? Or maybe right after me. He goes, yeah, that's his son. He goes, I'm selling it to his dad. His dad's taking over the foreign transmission. He goes, I bought a place in Long Beach. I go, where in Long Beach? I live there too. He goes, on San Antonio and Cherry. I'm on by Dorina Schnitzel in the cemetery. He goes, yeah. I go, dude, I lived in those corner apartments. He goes, man, our lives have just paralleled. I'm older than you, true, but our lives have paralleled. You lived everywhere I've owned a business. And my dad's worked for you. It's just, wow. And since then, Clazio took over it, and it's gone now. I don't know what happened to them. Foreign Transmission's gone. Mike Meltebeck, gone. Trappers Inn, gone. Birchford, gone. Over here, that was a Pick and Save. Before it was Pick and Save, it was Market Basket. If you remember Market Basket, I'll show you something else. Those of you real old time people, this Meek Bikes was back there. There was a Tasty Freeze back there. That Taco Bell was not there. This was a Super A Foods. Before it was Super A, it was let me think. Before it was Super A, it was S&A. They used to have the Wiener Schnitzel vehicle pull up right here. All us kids would come around and get those little whistles that you hang on your neck and blow. And they had a carnival that was set up here. It wasn't a big one, but it was set up here. It was really cool. They had a jewelry store connected to the end of the grocery store. And my sister, who lives in Ontario, has been married ever since the 70s, got her engagement ring or wedding ring from that jewel store there. This is a different gas station. It shut down for years because it leaked. They had a flame burning. And there's a gas station here, there's a gas station over there. That gas station had a dog that when the dog was real old, followed the guy, full service. He goes, when my dog dies, I'm gonna let it go. Next to that was the Royal Peacock Chinese food, my favorite place to eat. Over here was a gas station also. I mean, with Birchford and a gas station on the corner. Birchford, Trappers Inn. A gas station over there, a gas station here, there's a gas station there. There's a Carl's Jr. right there. In the back, later on in life, there's a Flags Guns. Before that, there's an arcade. A guy named June, his dad owned it. He was Korean. June, J-O-O-N. He owned it, and he played a lot of the Go-Go's. He loved the Go-Go's. He played the Go-Go's. There was a Michelangelo's Pizza back there, Vince Marston, and all of his heavy metal dudes and smoker dudes, part of the Fielder guys used to work there. They used to practically run that place. There was something else right there, and I forget what it was, but it was a really cool store. My mom used to take us there when we were small. I don't remember, but this was it. This was the place. Everything went on. And then when this opened up, I had a broken leg in 1981, 82 from being hit by a car. This was a Church's Chicken. Went out of business, was vacant for a decade or two. And then that one Pollo, decade and a half, then that one Pollo took over. They've been there ever since. There's a girl working in this pizza place one time. I went in there, I was on a date with a Russian girl. Went in there to get some quarters. We were gonna play some pool. And I go to get some quarters, and the girl looks at me and goes, "Hey Alan, how you been? I haven't seen you in years." And I go, "Do I know you?" She goes, "Of course you do. I was little, but you know me." I go, "How do I know you?" She goes, "Do you see the scar on my face?" And she points to her cheek. I go, "Yeah. You were with me the day I got the scar." I'm like, "Oh my God, Monique." She goes, "Yeah." "Oh wow, how old are you now?" 19. When she's about 3 or 4 years old. 4 years old, her mom took her to the corn festival, and she won some betta fish and some goldfish. So her mom bought her one of those little 6-inch by 10-inch plastic with the suction cups on the bottom. You put water in, you can put a pump in for fish, and put it by her crib. Well, her crib's here, and the fish are over there, and she's leaning over her crib, reaching for it. She reached and got it, and she pulled it up and fell. When she fell face first on it, and that jabbed right in her face, we took her down to Brea Emergency. So that's Monique. Full circle. And now I'm right back to where I started, so the bells, and this is where the video ends. It may be too long, I may have to edit it out, I don't know, but I just touched on everything because there's a lot of interesting things here. And the stuff that we did growing up is completely different from this stuff kids do nowadays. It's when we were kings. We were the kings of this entire area. We knew everybody. We knew where all the wild edibles were. We knew where all the people were that would help us and take us places and show us things and invite us swimming, and all the people who lived in different condos. If we're in the area, hey, we can swim here. We knew all the way up from Whitwood. This is our range. Whitwood. I rode my bikes as a teenager over to Point Hills Mall, but as kids we never went over Fullerton Road. Fullerton Road was a windy road. It's not like it was now. It's totally different. Hacienda the same, but Whittier Boulevard down to Whittier, we go to Conlon Brothers and get flies to go fishing. So Whittier Boulevard to Whitwood. Here we go all the way down to Carving Canyon, and then over this way we'd go ride all the way down to Camelot and about Disneyland. Come up from Disneyland, Knott's Berry Farm area. That was our. Oh, and then occasionally Santa Fe Springs to Orenday Road to go to tackle store. But we had a big territory. So I hope some of you, I helped you remember something of your childhood here, or of your time here, or your adulthood here. And if you did, put down in the comments, add, and let's let this thing see where it goes. All this stuff now, I can talk to anybody on this area, they don't know anything. All this stuff only lives in my head. So I want to try to share this, and maybe I find somebody else who unlocks something else in my memory, because it's all going when I go. Keeper of the books. Anyway, thanks for watching.